Hey everyone, and happy holidays! As you can see, my background is different, and that is because I got to come home for Christmas and I'm here for 2 weeks. But no, not but. There is no but. And my hair is in little twists because I came home and I got to wash my hair, deep condition it, do some masks and all that stuff. Got to show some love to my hair because I did not have any of my hair products back in France, and I got a whole bunch of them to take with me later, so I'm so happy. But let's get on track with this video. As you can see from the description, this video is about how to get started playing overseas. First, I want to say I am not an expert. I am only giving advice based off of my experience and experience from friends that I have asked. So let's get into it. First, the number one thing for starting to play overseas is you have to have film. That is the most important thing, because if you don't have film, how are you going to get picked to play for a team? So if you're coming straight out of college, it's easy. Ask your media person to put together a highlight tape for you and you have your film. If you've not played for a while, then you can try getting into different leagues and trying to get film together from that. If the people don't film it, see if you can get family or friends to film it for you, and you can put it together on your own. So that's the first thing, most important thing, film. Number two, you want to have an agent. Now, it's not the most important thing, but it is very, very helpful. Now, some people, they get an agent right off the bat. They're already contacting them while they're in college. But for those of you who do not have an agent or you don't have agents contacting you while you're in college or when you get out of college, there's so many other ways to meet an agent. So I know a lot of people have gone to combines, and when you go to a combine, there's plenty of agents that are sitting around just watching all the players to see if they want to sign somebody. So that's a way to find an agent, is to go to a combine and show off all your skills. Another way is through a friend or a coach. Let's say your coach may know someone that's overseas, or they may know agents that work overseas, or they even may know coaches that coach overseas. So that can help you a lot, is if you ask your coach and let them know, hey, I want to play overseas. They might have connections. Also, you can contact agents. You can always just use the internet, search different agencies, and you can contact them directly, ask them if they want to represent you, and send them your film. And so those are all the things that you can do. There might be more ways, but that's all that I know or that I can think of. And so that's number two. Number three, you can do it yourself. Now, there are quite a few people that do this, and it can be a little bit difficult, but if you know the right people or you work hard, it can all work out. So I know that you can contact teams without having an agent, and some teams like it because they like to cut out the middleman and it saves them money. But you also have to be careful. I'm not 100% sure on how to contact teams on your own. I have a friend that does do that, and if he answers me before I post this, I'm gonna add that. If he does not answer me, I will try and write it in the description, just in case. Now, I'd like to talk about different people that I know and how they started playing. So I have friends that started playing because they went to combines and that's how they found their agent. I've had friends that they played in the WNBA and they got an agent while they were out there, and then they started playing overseas. I've had friends that I have a friend, she took a year off, was coaching, and then she ended up doing, I think, like a Nike combine, and she met an agent there, and that agent helped her get overseas, and she actually plays in France. So that's also pretty cool. So you don't have to do it right out of college. You can take a year off and still have the opportunity to play, as long as you stay in shape, and if you're good, then you have a lot of opportunities. A lot of people, the better players that play in top colleges, they right off the bat, if they don't get drafted, then they already have agents contacting them. Like my sister, she already had her agent contact her while she was still playing, so she, as soon as she was done with school, went straight overseas, so it wasn't a problem for her. For me, I got my agent through my sister, so I was really lucky because my sister, before I graduated, had been playing for 4 years, and once I graduated, her agent said that he would also represent me, so that's how I received an agent. even if you start out playing without an agent, it's very possible to have an agent after, because even though I had an agent and I started playing, after I started playing, other agents would contact me to ask me to work with them. So there's always an opportunity, and as long as you, I guess, get your foot in the door, you can get it going. Okay, so I have one more thing that I forgot to add. If you are a EU or a European citizen, sorry, that is so much better for you because it's easier for you to get on a team. Most teams, they're only allowed to have 2 to 3 Americans. So if you're American and you also have an EU passport, that is good for you because they can put you on the team as an EU player, but you can still get a contract as an American player would. But you'd just be on the team as an EU player, which allows the team to have more American players. So they may have 4 American players, but if 2 of those players have, let's say, French passports or Italian passports, then they count as they count as a European player and not as an American player. And it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a European passport, because for me, I'm Belizean, and with my passport I can also be counted as a different type of player and not an American, so that's also beneficial. Okay, hope that helps you. So let's talk about pros and cons. So for having an agent, the pro, there's lots of pros because they handle everything. They represent you as a player, they present you to teams, they handle your contracts, they make sure that everything that you want in the contract is in the contract, and they give you the best opportunity and the best, I guess, country or position or contract for you to play. And on top of that, when you have the right agent, when you have issues when you're with the team, you contact your agent and your agent can clear that up for you, because sometimes it could be a little awkward to trying to figure out who to talk to on trying to figure out who to speak with about certain issues when you can just talk to your agent and your agent can handle it. Sometimes you can just talk to the team directly depending on what it is, but it's also nice to have an agent. So there's a lot of pros with having an agent. The cons would be if you have a bad agent. That is a big con, because there are lots of agents out there that are pretty terrible and they can really put you in some bad situations, which has happened to quite a few people, and that can be a scary thing. So you want to be careful who you have represent you, and it's okay because for the most part, most contracts last for just the season, so you can get a new agent, but you also want to read your contract to make sure that it's not automatically renewed. So if you sign with an agent and you're not happy, then you just end your contract and sign with a different one. So that's always the option. But whoever you sign with, you want to make sure that you try and speak to as many people as you can about the agent, so that you can kind of get a feel for how they represent you, and if they are the right fit for you. So those are the pros and cons for getting an agent. So doing it without an agent. The pro would be that you cut the middleman, and it probably allows you to have more money because the team is not having to pay an agent as well. Another pro, I'm actually not 100% sure because I'm not really knowledgeable in that area, but I guess a con would be if you don't read your contract properly, you can get really screwed over. If you are not a good, I guess, bargainer, or what's the word? Mom! Yeah. What's the word when you are talking to someone about, like, let's say you're talking about a contract, but you want to like change some things and you go back and forth with it? Negotiate? Thank you. If you're not a good negotiator, then you can end up with like a crappy deal, which is not what you want. You want to have the best deal for you as a person and as a player. So going through just a team, you have to be very careful, because all the little things that your agent takes care of with your contract and all the information and making sure that your contract is a good contract, you'll have to deal with. So that's where you have to be careful. Some teams can go bankrupt, or they can decide not to pay you. So that can be really scary. I know I played in Sweden last season, and the men's team, I knew a couple of the men's players. The men's team went bankrupt, and they didn't get paid their last couple of months of salary. I actually have to ask them and see if they got paid, because I don't even know if they still got paid. But at the end of the season, they didn't get the last couple months of their salary because the team went bankrupt. And that can be a really, that's a big problem. And for the most part, if something like that happens, I'm pretty sure that your agent and you would go to the, what is it? I think it's FIBA or the Basketball Association, because you have to sue them or something like that. But it's a lot of stuff that you don't want to have to do. But that can happen with the team. And it could be that they don't go bankrupt. It could be that they just don't pay you, which I've heard of that too, where there's players that go and play a full season and they don't get paid. And you wonder why they stay. Well, I mean, sometimes if you get flown out there, if you can't fly back, then you kind of just stay there. Maybe you get paid the first couple months and then the last part of the season they don't pay you and you're just like, where's my money? So that can be a big problem when it comes to doing it on your own. Or, I mean, honestly, it can happen with an agent as well. But that's just teams in general, because you have to be careful. I mean, I think that's basically it. It's just, if you do it on your own, you have to be careful that they pay for everything that they say they're going to. They don't screw you in the contract. And they don't try and have you sign things that you don't understand that can maybe jeopardize something in the future. So you always have to be careful, especially when you're in a different country. Be careful what you sign and make sure that you understand what you're signing. If it's in a different language, it can be difficult. So you have to, I would advise to ask for it in English. And if you can't, if you have an agent, send it to your agent, say, is this cool to sign? And if you don't have an agent, you better whip out your phone and Google Translate that whole thing and figure it out, because you want to make sure that you understand whatever it is that you're signing. I'm going to talk about me, how I started playing. I went to the University of Arizona and then I transferred and went to UC Irvine. But my experiences there would be a whole nother video, because that's just, it's a lot. But after I graduated from UC Irvine, as I told you, my sister, she was playing for 4 years and she had an agent. So what happened with me was her agent decided to represent me. So right out of college, I had an agent. I actually went to China, and there was like this all-star team that they had. So I went to China and played there for about a month, I think it was, or a couple of weeks. And then after that, that's when I went to Switzerland to play my first year overseas. And that all happened because I got my agent through my sister. So I was actually really lucky. But I know that other people, you can get, if you have family members that play, obviously, they should help you out with an agent because it's family. If you have friends, then they can help you. I know I've had friends contact me about having an agent, and there's an agent that I know, and I've given their information to my friends. Having film is the most important thing, and either getting an agent or doing it yourself. But there are so many teams in Europe. There are so many opportunities. From France to any other country, there's always going to be an opportunity for you to play. It's just how you go about it. In France alone, the division I play for, we have, I think, maybe about like 14 or 15 teams, and there's so many teams, they split our division in half. So we have like 14 or 15 here and 14 or 15 there. So right there you have maybe about 30 teams in one division, and there's so many different levels, like going up and going down. There's many levels. So there's so many opportunities just in France to play and in every other country. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. I hope that my video answered any questions that you might have. But of course, if you have some, let me know. I will do my best to find the best answer for you. But again, I can only try, but I may not know. But if I do not know, I will try and point you in the right direction to figure it out. Thanks so much for watching my video. I hope it really helped you out, and I look forward to you watching my next one. Happy holidays!